Hi, my name's John Binnie. I am a spiritual mentor, clinical reflexologist, and mindfulness teacher. And I asked my spirit guides today what would be a fantastic deep dive to best help serve you and the collective at this time. And the short answer was for me to ask each of my guides individually to introduce themselves, to step forwards, and to explain a little bit about their feeling and belief and prediction about what will happen over the next 12 months, and to see it through the eyes and hearts of different galactic races. And we will see which ones of my guides step forwards in today's channeling session. And I feel like they will include Lyran, the lion beings, Mantis, Dragon, and also there will be other galactic races stepping forwards. So looking forward to meeting each of these guides up close and personal and sharing their thoughts on Ascension over the next 12 months. Okay, so let's first set up a safe space for the channeling. And so we'll begin by taking in 3 deep breaths in through the nose, nice and deep. Hold and breathe out through the mouth. What no longer serves our highest good, nice and loud. Breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out the stress, fear, and anxiety of a lifetime. And breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out any remaining low vibration energy or entities. Continue to breathe deeply and calmly. And from the divine spark in the center of our hearts, we extend a light cord up through the top of our heads, through the sky and through the stars, until we reach the highest dimension of the source of love of this universe, and there connecting our light cords into the highest dimension of source. Remain connected into source and extend our light cords down through the stars and through the sky, back down to the top of our heads and into our hearts once more. And now from the center of our hearts, we extend the light cord down through the roots of our spine, all the way down through the layers of the planets until we reach the very core of Mother Earth. And there connecting our light cords into Mother Gaia's crystalline heart. Remaining connected to Mother Gaia's heart and sending her so much love, we send and extend our light cords all the way up through the layers of the planet, through the root of our spine and into our hearts once more. And now from the center of our hearts, we extend and expand our energy together with Source above and Gaia below to surround each of us individually at first, setting the intention to extend a golden bubble out to about 2 meters out from the center of our hearts, in front and behind, above and below, and to each side. We set the intention for this golden bubble that only energies and entities with our permission, our highest good love and compassion can see us, access us, or exist within this space or within us, and that all other energies and entities must leave us immediately. And into our golden bubbles, we invite in our guides, our higher selves, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source, and Gaia, for our guidance, clearing, healing, protection, self-love, and intuition. And through space and time, I create a golden bubble around all those that choose to watch this at this time, to engage in these messages, in these channelings, in this activity. And I set the intention that only energies and entities with our permission, our highest good love and compassion can see us, access us, or exist within this space or within us. That all other energies and entities must leave us immediately. And I set the intention for today's session that I would like each of my guides, whichever of the active 8 at this time, choose to step forwards one at a time to give their thoughts, their feelings, their predictions on Earth's ascension and every living thing in this universe over the next 12 months. And I would like to ask my first guide to step forwards, please. And there's some discussion between my guides. Okay. And so my first guide stepping forwards is my Lyran guide. His name is Emenshal. He's a lion being. He's very beautiful and very powerful, and he's like roaring his name to me. I can try my best to imitate this. It's like Emenshal, Emenshal. More of a roar than a growl, but it's my best. Thank you, Emenshal. And he's just stepping forwards to me. And so he's saying that his first message is that, and this is whilst he's stood outside of me, just in front of me, he's saying a first message is that in terms of the time frame of 12 months, this is not about minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, and years, more about frequencies. And frequencies, he's showing me like Earth's ascension frequencies are like, they're these waves. So imagine, I'm recording this on my phone, you imagine my phone screen is just like gradually filling up with higher vibrations. And it's like almost like those high vibrations of water. And so they're rippling across as they fill up. And so even when we reach the end of this phase, this cycle of ascension, it will not be flat and linear. Not everything will ascend at exactly the same time. So even within a 12-month snapshot, this will not be uniform in terms of ascension across all living things at this time, even those living things that choose to ascend at this time. And this message is important for several reasons. One is that linear time is not very helpful in determining the understanding of when something will happen, because the when is a frequency, it is a feeling, it is a vibration. It is not a point in linear time. And linear time is a construct that humans created to try and simplify and to understand and overlay on this quantum reality where really all time is in parallel at once. Our infinite present moments hold quantum time. And so it's important to understand that this is just a raising of the frequency of our present moments. It is not something that happens in the future. It's something that happens to us right now. And the ascension frequency is happening right now. And we have already ascended somewhat in our journey. And I'd like to ask Emenshal a bit more about himself to introduce him to you. And he says that his love, and he's just getting ready, he wants to channel through me for a moment, but he doesn't want to drain me too much because I want to go through multiple guides. But there are aspects to Emenshal he wants to share. First, his pride, his clan, his family. He is so protective and so loving. He is fiercely protective of those he loves. And he describes it as rageful care. And this is the beautiful attribute of him and many Lyran beings and humans too, is that he is just fiercely protective and always very loving. And so for the vast majority of the time, he's a very caring, quite slow and methodical and yet passionate being. And then for those moments of quick action and protection, he is fierce. He is a fierce warrior. And energetically, he helps me a lot when I'm doing energy clearings. And he helps a lot with also with non-judgment. So being brave and wise to know that even when you're under attack by something, to be able to allow those fear emotions to somewhat dissolve, especially when there's no real judgment. And I feel this is why he is an ascended master in as a Lyran being, because he is able to fight in battles physically and energetically without feeling fear or judgment of his enemy. They just are. Their capabilities just is. And what is happening just is. And he always does his very best to look after his loved ones and himself. And he wants to just step into me briefly, just to share a short message on our Ascension journey. Aramauru Arumara. And greetings. We invite you at this time to learn to love yourself as much or more than you have been loving your loved ones. It's your self-love that fuels and guides this ascension. As humans, your frequency range from the highest vibration to the lowest vibration is vast and impressive and quite unique in this universe. And so we invite you at this time to extend the love, the self-love of you to every aspect, to every frequency range of you inside. And this is a practical step, a practice you can take every day. Just look at yourself in the mirror, place your hand on your heart, and extend your love across the bandwidth spectrum of your frequency range. You love the angel of yourself, you love the demon of yourself, and everything in between. Love yourself. It is this love energy that is this ascension energy. These galactic waves, these ascension waves that are flowing through the planet and flowing through you at this time. It is love energy. Love energy at its very core. It comes from the source of love of the universe, from the central sun of this universe. And so the more you can love that whole frequency range of yourself, the more you will ascend, and the more you will help the collective of your planet ascend. We thank you. And I bring this Lyran message to assist you in your self-love. Aro uru iyeya ramaraya uru tarmiaya uru muyoto ara ra ra ra. And may that message resonate in your heart for eternity. And he's just stepping out to me. Thank you so much. Thank you, Em and Shell. Thank you. Okay. That was really beautiful. So he's just stepping back. And I'm seeing now like my different guides like lining up. So Em and Shell, he's just stepped off to my right. And my next guide is stepping forwards. Who will it be next? There's a little bit of discussion, but my Mantis guide is stepping forwards next. Her name is Marita. And she's showing herself to me, so she would like me to describe her to you. She's tall. How tall are you, Marita? So she's saying, when she's kind of hunched over, she's about 7 foot tall. If she fully stands tall and like stretches her claws out, she is about 12 foot tall. And she's cautious not to scare humans. She says she's always conscious that humans are scared of, many humans are scared of insectoid beings. And so she wants to reassure us of her loving kindness and intention. And so she's just settling back to about 7 foot tall in front of me. She has very large eyes, larger than the mantis that we see on Earth. They're these large, dark, oval eyes. And they do remind us a bit of the grey alien eyes. They are much bigger. They're not quite as dark. And there's not all the time, but she's just given me this this term, like as she goes through an ascension. Okay, the mantis have a different term for this, but her rainbow ascension. So as her different parts of her body physically and her chakras ascend, they expand out into the full frequency range of color, and her eyes begin to develop this kind of shimmering, like oily rainbow effect across her eyes. And this is the first time I've seen this. This is really beautiful. Thank you, Marita. And her skin is slightly blue and slightly green. And there's another color. I've not seen this color in her before. There's little thin lines that run across some of her, like her arms and her abdomen, and down to her legs. That's like these very little thin lines of a light yellow. It's about this color. And she's very proud of these. These are crystalline veins, and they are representative of her crystalline ascension. And she's very excited by this because she wants to meet me physically, which is really beautiful. Yes, please do. She wants to meet me physically in the fifth or into sixth dimension. And she is going through this crystalline ascension, this upgrade of her body, turning from flesh like mine, like in the third dimension, and her fifth dimensional light body, like merging together, upgrading together, and coexisting as sixth dimensional crystalline body. And she's saying that, John, you will go through this, which is exciting. And she said she is going through it also, and that she would like to meet me in the sixth dimension together as part physical, part light being as well. She's saying it's light in physical form. Thank you. Okay, and Marita, please tell us your message for the prediction of you and your race's prediction of our ascension over the next 12 months. Any messages that will help us at this time? She's doing this with her hands, and she's saying, humans always wanting, a simple solution, a simple answer. And in human terms, everything always has to be in human terms, like time has to be in 12 months, or that the concept of time is like this human understanding, this overlay of linear time on the far more chaotic and fluid quantum time that truly exists. She's just playing with us a bit, and she's saying she finds humans very, very, very fascinating, including myself, John. And she's showing her and her race have been doing a lot for the universe for millennia. And there's a lot of peacekeeping work. There has been periods of the mantis beings being aggressive and dominant. There was the journey of the mantis galactic race is that they spent much of their first cycles of their existence as a race, conquering and dominating the parts of the universe, the planets and the stars and space that they came into contact with. And as they did this, there's this seed growing inside of them, and they have a name for this. It's the seed of source, and it's this awareness that as they came into contact with more and more beings from around the known universe, or their known universe, they saw such beauty and such infinite variation in every being, and not just within different races and different planets, but that it is the uniqueness, this seed of source, that they are excited about. They're excited about the uniqueness, and the reason they called it a seed, because it grew within their own race, that this movement, this idea, this ascension, that you can't conquer uniqueness, that uniqueness is instilled as a birthright for every living thing in this universe, and everything is living. And so what started to happen is that they naturally evolved from being conquerors to becoming far more inquisitive researchers, explorers, and they shifted as they would visit a planet. It shifted from conquering to then landing and beginning to integrate with a race. And then they started to realize that their own effect on other races would have this dampening effect on the uniqueness of the beings. Like the beings of the world that they would arrive on would start to dim their uniqueness, in part with fear, in part because they were worried and they wanted to fit in with their new occupiers. And so this gradually shifted to observing, and they then evolved to becoming peacekeepers, because they realized that the whole success, like the goal of this universe and of source, is to cultivate the uniqueness of every living thing, and to allow it to every individual living thing to continue to grow their uniqueness, like their unique abilities, their unique opinions, their unique physical attributes, beliefs and goals, and just everything about us individually that are unique. And we love exploring as humans is true across the universe. And this is a long introduction to explaining why Marita, as my guide, is here to help with the understanding and the exploration of the uniqueness individually, collectively as a co-creative consciousness on Earth, and then also that uniqueness and that co-creative collective universal consciousness that we all are part of across this whole universe. And she's reminding me that this varies, of course, from every individual. It is helpful to see yourself individually as 80% of your consciousness is totally dedicated to your own focus of your day-to-day life. Even when you're dreaming, like, you are just part of the 80%, you're focused on yourself. And then there's 20% of yourself that is then part of the collective of the planet that we're in. And so this includes every living thing in the planet, everything from the rocks and the trees and the birds and the people and the animals and everything through to the planet itself. And then there's this as part of that 20%, because so there's like an overlap of the 80% with the 20% of the whole, 20% of the whole planet's collective. And then within the 20% of the planet's collective, there's about 5%, which is quite a lot when you think about it, that's overlapping with the universes. Now, this goes in layers, okay? So the consciousness goes in layers. It goes from planet to solar system to galaxy to universe. And so that 5% could be broken down into those different layers. But it is simpler to just describe it as universal consciousness, because the layers, the bigger the geographic distance between the layers, the smaller the amount of consciousness that we lend from our own individual consciousness to those layers. And so that last 5% is easier to talk about universal co-creative consciousness. And she says that the important thing to know is that it is our own unique individual aspects of us that Source is constantly experimenting with every single birth of every single living thing. It is the individual creative, unique abilities of each of us that fuels the ascension. So imagine Source energy fuels the birth of you, and you are unique, infinite, beautiful soul, and incarnated as a human at this time. That energy is then given to you, delegated to you, for you to be able to take to a higher vibration, to a greater capability, to extend your frequency range up, to do even more and better, lighter, more serving others than just yourself, to help serve the greater good of the planet, and to help explore all your infinite creativity beyond the current limitations that many of us, including myself, have at this time. And it is this doing action, the exploration, just like the Mantis explored the whole universe, looking for uniqueness, the exploration of you in your life right now, in this moment, exploring your uniqueness, including watching this video. This is what is fueling this ascension. And so the waves of ascension that we see coming from the central sun of this universe and flowing through our own sun and coming through our own hearts, it is the drawing, we are drawing these galactic waves into our hearts as we are the ones that are ascending. And it's this beautiful flywheel. The more we ascend, the more we want to explore these unique aspects of ourselves. And these range from our psychic abilities, our abilities to manifest, our dream lives, to be able to help others, to be able to change this world and shift this world. We are drawing this energy in as much as we are creating it, which is so beautiful. Okay, and in terms of the practical steps, I'm just asking Marita, what can we do each day on this ascension journey? What does it mean for us over the next 12 months? And the first thing she's saying is to create space. So create space in your day. Every minute helps. Literally every minute. If it's just 1 minute a day that you could spare to exploring a new, unique aspect of you, then do it. If this is your intention to want to both ascend yourself and to help the ascension of this planet and this whole universe, you can literally spend 1 minute. And she's saying, try things that you did when you were a child. When you were a child, a young child, such as before about the age of 5 or 6 years old, you loved exploring these different things, these different abilities that you had. Singing, dancing, painting, drawing, speaking, creating poems, playing with toys. You're creating music, computer programming, whatever it is that you did. And she's saying, that's your starter list. That's the list of things that you can explore. And if you can spare 1 minute or 10 minutes or an hour each day, this exploration of your own unique abilities are very, very helpful in the Ascension. Why? Because the exploration journey itself is very high vibration. Exploration is an action of seeking and researching with intention. And when you explore yourself with the intention of finding new, unexpected, magical, unique things about you, then this helps raise your vibration. So why not today or starting tomorrow, just spend 10 minutes? And she's saying to me I should try drawing because I do lots of music, running, dancing, singing, but I don't draw much. And she's using this example because I don't believe I'm a very good drawer, or painter. But she's saying that this is because comparison is not helpful. When we're all truly unique, everyone has our own unique abilities. And so seek the magic, the mysterious beauty that Source has encoded in you and your soul. And in this lifetime, find out what that is, because it does not look the same for everyone. And it can look very simple, such as your art might look like it was, like a 2-year-old toddler had created it. And yet there is magic in this. There is beauty in your mysterious beauty, even in the simplest of art forms. And so it's not just art. You could be a builder. You could be someone that focuses on completing tasks, like building a brick wall very fast. Look for the mysterious magic that Source has encoded within you. It's there in everything you do. You just need to set the intention to look for it. Wow, thank you. And then finally, she's saying, please release everything that doesn't serve your highest good. You need to let go of the baggage. And she's just showing me in my third eye just now, she's showing me a big hot air balloon, like my head. And then she's showing like my heart as being like the basket of where the people would stand to be carried up by the hot air balloon. And she's saying, you cannot lift your heart if you're still hanging on to the weights. And this is what they do with hot air balloons. They often have weights or ropes down to the ground, and they're held down to begin with as they heat up the balloon. And she said, you're heating up the balloon. You're allowing yourself to get higher and higher in vibration in like your upper chakras. But in the lower chakras, you need to release what doesn't serve your highest good. This includes all your pain, your shame, your fear, wherever it exists in your life, in your memory, in your consciousness, past, parallel, present, and future, including anxiety about the future. It is time to release it. Release those ropes, release that baggage, release those weights. It allows you to rise. And although it's hard, and she says, I totally understand, it's incredibly hard. If you can see yourself like this hot air balloon rising so naturally with this unstoppable force, then you will see that doing this inner work, doing your shadow work, as your fears come up, face them, write them down, share them with others, and face them. Do the thing that scares you the most. Like for me, John, leaving my corporate job was a huge fear for several years, and very consciously for the last year prior. And so I couldn't go around it. I had to go through it. I had to go through that fear. I had to feel through it. And now I feel incredibly light. If you can't tell, I feel so much lighter. And it's not that job was the worst job in the world. Of course it wasn't. It was that I needed to let that go. I needed to let that part of me go, that baggage, and allow myself the freedom and capacity and space to rise. Thank you, Marita. And she wants to thank you for listening for so long to her. She really wanted to share this. It's so important, her message. And she also wanted to say that the purpose of her message is to give you a focus for the future, because your focus for the future is as important, if not more important, than the challenges that you seek to overcome in the present. Because when we do not know or have the intention of what to overcome and where we want to be after we overcome it, then it is very difficult to truly know what we should overcome first, what baggage we should let go. Okay, thank you, Marita. Thank you. And my next guide, who's waited very patiently, her name is Maya. And Maya is a guide that first came to me after my awakening, and I started meditating every day in 2017. She appeared just in the first few weeks, 2-3 weeks. And this is a big grand introduction for her. She came forwards. She is she describes herself as an elemental being who she considers herself a sister of Mother Gaia. And she is a humanoid form relation to Mother Gaia. And she brings very much a grounded energy, very much this green, fey and elemental energy. And she reminds us all to be so grounded at this time. And in fact, she reminded me just now that just before I started this session today, as I was talking to my guides about doing this, she reminded me that I was a bit worried that I was cautious that I didn't want to become ungrounded today. I don't want to do too much of this psychic work, because it's like every minute that I spend in these higher frequencies and the higher realms talking to very high vibration beings, I also need to spend maybe 5 minutes or more, so 5 times that effort, grounding in this energy. So anchoring that energy into my being, into my wisdom, my understanding, and into this planet. Because if I don't, I become very like kind of stuck in these upper chakras. So if it only ever sits in my crown chakra, I can swell up and fill my crown chakra with so much high vibration wisdom and high vibration energy. But if I can't bring it down into my other chakras and connect it into planet Earth, then it becomes very difficult for me to utilize it. And I, just like a year ago, last summer, it's very easy to start to become unhinged, to become disconnected with this reality, with this third dimension. And so this is her inviting us back to Earth, back to home, back to where we live as children of Earth, as much as we are children of, she's saying, of the sun, and also of course, of Source. And I'm intrigued. So Maya's just showing herself a little bit more. She's showing herself as she's quite tall as a humanoid female form, and she's saying it like, she's just saying to me, what is tall? Like, several hundred years ago or thousands of years ago, humans were shorter, and she's been around a very, very long time. And so she's always been tall it's like her height has been relatively tall for the average height of the planet, as humans. And she likes her being to be tall. So at the moment she's just about 6 foot tall, and she's very slender. She's wearing this white gown, and she has like a hoodie. So she has this hoodie over the top of her head, and it's kind of brought down vertically like this, and it comes down. It's bigger than mine, and it comes down over her shoulders. and she said she likes doing that. That thing I just did. It's really interesting. It's like a beautiful introduction. She says she hides purposefully her light, the strength of her light, when she first introduces herself, because she wants to gradually, like I can't draw it on the screen, like gradually ramp up that light, that energy. So she likes to meet people where they're at, and then gradually increase the energy up. And she said that's what she did with me. That's really beautiful. Because I was so heavy, I was so dense when she first met me. And she's saying actually a lot of my pre-awakening density was too dense for her to come forward. It's like I was, drinking lots of alcohol. I was eating lots of, not great. My diet wasn't great. And she said she could only appear in and out sometimes in a day because she can't, frankly speaking, she can't reach that low vibration. This is all in the context of answering the question about our ascension and how we can continue to, what will we do over the next 12 months? What can we do for ourselves and for each other? And she's saying, this is that first introduction point. So that moment when she's like this, when she's, as a guide, she's kind of hidden until she walks up, and until she's able to walk up to me and take her hood off and reveal her whole self, is entirely dependent on, one, her ability to go to the lowest vibration, lowest frequency that she can achieve. And then also for me to get to the highest vibration, continually try and raise myself to the next high vibration so that I can connect with her. And so in this respect, it's like an expansive, she's showing this V shape, and she's saying right at the bottom when we first met in 2017. So it would have been around the end of November, early December that I first probably met her, that my vibration became higher. And of course, what happened since that point is that as I continued to raise my vibration, it wasn't up in a single line. It wasn't just one scale, like one thread of John is here, John is here, John is here, John is here in frequency. It's expansive. And so every hertz or cycle of frequency that I raise my frequency up in, each time it goes up and up and up, it expands out and out and out. And so just like my life has revolutionized in the last 12 months, it will continue to revolutionize in the next 12 months. And that this is also possible for you. She's just going back to Emenshell and Marita as well, my Lyran and Mantis guides. And she's saying their advice is great advice. This is helpful and useful for you to follow if you're trying to answer the question about how you raised your vibration. She also comes with this message, and she's just reflecting on my journey, on John's journey. She's saying there's this whole thing, and I'm just feeling those feelings again. I describe it as my lone wolf journey, where I had to do so much of this ascension so far in isolation. And it was so lonely. There were so many days and weeks and months I felt so alone. I felt alone in my family. I felt alone at work. I felt alone in a crowd. I felt like I was the only one in the universe going through this ascension. And it lasted for years. And this feeling sometimes comes back. And it had to be that way, and it has to be that way for many others. And this is because the ascension happens within you. And for you to be able to truly focus on yourself, a highly effective way of doing this is for you to do it alone. And she's showing me these references, like some of these popular references we have, like, you know, the hero in a movie, like going on like a vision quest, or, you know, facing the beast that they fear the most, and then finding that it's within them, like their fear, it's the fear within them that they have to conquer. This is the walk of our shadows. This is our shadow work. It is us facing all those things that we're avoiding and scared of, and that we have to not just see them, we have to face them, battle them if we need to. Somehow, whatever we do, we have to go through them, feel them, and heal them. And to know that our shadows, in many respects, always exist, but we learn to accept and see them as part of us. And that all that huge energy of, and dominant energy of fear and anxiety that is encased around it, melts away and it becomes just another building block, another stepping stone in our soul's journey, our own development, when we're able to face our fears. And she's saying, just like Marita's exploration of the universe and the unique aspects of us, we need to uniquely face our fears. And she said, Maya's saying, look, this whole planet's here for you, just like the green behind me. There's nature everywhere around you to hold you. Mother Gaia, Mother Nature wants to hold you in this journey. Allow yourself to be held in nature. Take time, go out in walks. You bring your shadows with you to the forest, to the woods, to the sea, to the desert, to the sky, wherever you are able to access nature. And these fears of yours lose their power in nature. This is why you're held, and it's like you're held in your mother's arms as you're taking yourself to the deepest, darkest beast, the monster, the shadow that exists within you. What is the next big thing you need to face? And she wants to acknowledge that it's just really hard sometimes. And yes, there are times in your life that this ascension is so incredibly hard, and that the world events that happen over the next 12 months, they are startling and surprising and shocking. There are many things that will be attempted. Almost, she's showing me this, it's like a quickening, an acceleration of what starts as being shocking. Like she's showing me like fake alien invasions. She's showing me fake wars, fake nuclear wars. In that they're either attempts to start them, to start an actual like World War III or nuclear international war, or that they're CGI, like they're totally fake, like they literally don't exist. And all of these big events, like there's a long list of what we could call the dark forces that still dominate the earth at this time. There's a long list of ideas they've got about how to descend us, how to lower our vibrations, how to keep us in fear, how to help us dim our lights. But they are not able to stop this ascension. They're not able to stop us. And if anything, their long list of terrible ideas are actually helping us ascend, because it makes this world, the way that there's these broken systems and matrix of control and mind control and programming and greed fueled like bloodlust, this acceleration of that paradigm becomes really quite funny. And it's not funny in the way that people lose their lives. That is not funny at all. But the rate at which it excels, it exceeds and accelerates, it just becomes a joke. It becomes a joke, and that it unravels itself. It like reveals itself because it accelerates so fast. And so in this respect, we have nothing to fear in this ascension. Yes, there is chaos ahead of us. Yes, there are rocks in the road for this, or in the river for our ascension flow to flow around and eventually topple and push over. However, there is also a funny side to this, and we're seeing that she's saying underbelly as a term. She's saying that this underlying feeling that we have as these global events over the next 12 months accelerate is that humans just aren't putting up with this crap anymore. Like, we're sick of it. This is our planet. We're not going to be made fools of anymore by these dark forces that seek to globally control us. And I was being shown like this like fake alien invasion, which is one of the next things that happens, and over the coming months. And Maya's saying that the humans are just like the people on the street that see it, that see these physical. They're like setups. They're almost like little movie scenes. So they're actually. They're created as like almost like a show for the media to then consume and spread around the world and create that fear energy in all of us. But even those that happen, there's a lot of people, especially younger people, and I'm seeing like children, like running up and hugging like the scary looking alien, and just seeing that no matter how aggressive the aliens appear, that they need a hug and they need love. And they're not, many of these are not alien, and those that are like role playing, like they're parts of this control but they regime, but they're not representative of their entire race. So if you see any particular races, and we'll come on to my dragon guide in a moment, Maya's saying like, it doesn't matter. We're just all, just see us all as unique souls in this same universe. We all share the same home, this same universe. And so they might look like funny people to us, but they are our people. Like, they are our galactic people, no matter which, planet, star system, timeline they come from. And she said, of course, Maya's just saying, of course you can defend yourself, of course you can be scared, you can do what you want. Not everything is in your best interest to go and give a big hug in that moment. But she's saying the undercurrent, this underbelly of Ascension, is that people are beginning to see the funny side of the most terrible things that we do to each other. They're starting to feel that war is the most ridiculous waste of our own lives and own energy, because it is against the very thing that Source is trying to teach us. Our war is often about the differences between us and trying to destroy the differences between us and make us all seem the same. And yet that's not true. The opposite is true. We are all unique and we should be celebrated. And that the wars should be the opposite. They should be explorations about how different we are and finding new ways to collaborate together across this planet and across this universe. Wow. Thank you, Maya. Okay. And I want to just do a short introduction to my dragon guide also. So her name is Muia. Okay, so she wants me to introduce her name. She's saying, introduce my name properly. Okay. So in her, I would call it dragon light language, but it's really just her dialect. She says, this is how she pronounced her name. Muia. And her name means remember who you are. Muia. Yes, thank you. So I do have another reptilian guide called Lucy. Lucy was around right at the beginning of my ascension. In fact, my awakening. It's a Freudian slip. And she just reminded me that she's not the only reptilian. Yeah, Lucy's just chatting away. Okay, thank you. But yeah, she's saying that they are both Draco in origin, but there's a what do you call it? Like a split in the ancestral trees, like the species, and that they took two different paths. And okay, Amuria is saying that she calls herself like a flying dragon, so she looks a lot more like we would see flying dragons in our movies. We'd see them battling with like knights and medieval times, and also in like Lord of the Rings and all these fantasy movies as well. But she does stand. She's showing herself just now, and she's standing as a humanoid, and she just has her wings down at her side. She's not hiding her wings. She's very, very proud of them. But she also likes to be able to function, and she's showing me just like. Is it a pterodactyl, the flying dinosaur, that halfway along her wing, or I can't quite show it, halfway along her wing just here is like her claws, her hands. Okay. And I'd just like to ask her, Muria, can you tell us what's ahead of us for the next 12 months in our own individual and Earth's ascension, and any guidance you can give to us on our own individual journeys? And so she's reminding me it's all about this fire. So, and she wants to try her best to articulate the difference between a fire of destruction, of this kind of rageful bloodlust, destruction that, sometimes dragons, but also humanity resonates with in war. Like just this fiery destruction alone is not the energy that she wants to bring forwards. She wants to bring forwards in us this other side, this loving rage that exists within us. And so she's showing me just what was happening in these kind of setups. So Maya was showing us that there would be these kind of fake alien invasions created, almost like these movie sets, and that as they were created, many people would run away in fear and be fear, or act in fearful, or feel fear, maybe be frozen on the spot with fear when they're seeing these scenarios being created. And she said she doesn't want us to rise up and start attacking the film crew that are, filming this to create it, or even the people that are perpetrating the creation of it. She's saying this fiery rage of love is like, it's like an angry love that is very outward facing. It's like this big roar, and it's just like the children running to the fake aliens. It's like they run to them and they give them a big hug. And it's like that roar that you overcome your fear with. You're saying, I will no longer tolerate this fear. I will no longer be in this fear situation. I will ignite that fire in my heart, and I'll rise up, and I will hug with extreme love. I will love this situation better. And maybe there is a little bit of battle involved, but the purpose and the intention is to hold, to hug, to give love to your attackers. Like you cannot win wars with hate and fear and destructive weapons. That has never solved a war in this universe ever. Like it just doesn't work. It is the love energy, and it doesn't mean to say that you have no boundaries and that you have no standards or sovereignty. It's the opposite. It's like you don't want to just live in a country that lives in peace and harmony. You want this whole universe to achieve peace and harmony. And that means if some countries want to fight each other for fun, like, knock yourselves out, guys, like, or planets want to do that, like, you guys get to do that. But we're not going to live in fear of you. We're going to love you. And if you ever come and attack us, we will bring you back to a place of love. And it's so funny. She's saying it's almost like a threat of love, right? Which is, if you can't play safely in a fighting situation, like in a safe sand pit, if you step outside of that and you step into our boundaries, and in this case for you and I, if some being steps into our reality, into our world, into our lives, whether it's human or not, and causes fear, then we will not tolerate it, and we will overcome it with this fiery love energy. And so to explain a little bit, just slowing that down a little bit and thinking a little bit through about what that means day to day for us, is the first thing you'll notice is this perception of the outside universe. So if you have a loving perception if you extend your love and kindness to this whole universe, it increases the vibration of this whole universe, just full stop. The opposite is true. If you are scared of everything outside of your immediate reality, as far as your eye can see, if you're scared of what exists out there, you will lower the vibration of your universe. Because remember, going back to the beginning, we're all in these different, we're all in these layered together in these co-creative unity consciousnesses. And that's the first thing. Then, if something comes into your boundaries, so you need to have boundaries, right? And we're not really taught. I see my kids at school now, at high school, being taught some things about boundaries, but boundaries individually and for our families and for our towns and our cities and our countries and our planets, our boundaries are really important, and they are a series of energetic and physical boundaries and rules that give permission or not to certain frequencies, beings at certain frequencies, behaviors, intentions. And you could say, for example, you would accept one of your friends or one of your family members into your home. You'd willingly invite them in your home. If one of your neighbors needed some help, and perhaps you knew them or you said hi to them on a regular or irregular basis, you would allow them into your home if they needed your help. But if some stranger just appears and you couldn't really tell what their intention was, and they asked to come in your home, then you would say no, like that's a boundary. And then if I know that some stranger turned up drunk and they were very aggressive, and they just wanted to force their way in your home, then you would stop them and say, no, like, you're not allowed in my home. And then if someone was, attacking it with, whatever weapons, your home, you'd be like, there's no way you're coming in. It's like, it's not happening. Now, these boundaries to our homes, like, make very practical sense. Moya is saying, like, remember, your body is also your home. So don't allow things into your home, into your body, and into this auric field around you, about 2 meters out from the center of your heart. Don't allow it in if it doesn't meet your own your own sovereign boundary rules. So you get to decide what those rules are. You get to decide what frequency and vibration, what behaviors you accept, what you don't. And everyone gets to create them uniquely. Everyone has their own boundaries. And that's great, right? Because this is all a free will universe at the heart of everything we do. And so Moya is taking me back to her name as her introduction. She's saying, Moya. It means remember who you are. This is remember who you are, your boundaries. You're this fire in your heart, this beautiful, unique flame that burns. Source has gifted you and created you into this reality to express itself in its own unique ways and to reflect this uniqueness back to itself through all the other trillions and trillions of unique souls and beings and incarnations that it's created. And so it's your job and yours alone to protect your own boundaries. And you've got to decide what they are. And this is a really important practical exercise for you. So this is some homework Moya would like you to do, is to write down these rules. Imagine them like layers, and you could use the analogy of the home, but write them about your body and your life. You say, so for example, I accept people into my life who want to work with me, who align with my future vision of what I want to do with my life and my business, on my mission to raise vibrations and to balance and harmonize darkness and light. And that's on my website. Like, I wrote that vision on my website so that anyone can read it. And I constantly update it and constantly look at it, and I follow that vision. And it is the practice of writing it down that you don't need to write your vision down if you don't want to, but you do need to have a feeling about what that future feels like. And if your future is a loving, kind, compassionate, equal planet that you want to achieve in this lifetime, then write that down in your rules and say, I do not accept people into my reality or into my home or into my body if they or these things do not resonate with a loving, happy, kind, and harmonious, equal and compassionate world. These are really simple things, right? But it affects, when you think about it, affects everything you do. And Maria's reminding me this, like, she's saying, like, everything you buy, like everything you eat, everything you drink, everything you watch on TV. Think of all the people that go into creating some of the things that you consume. Sometimes all from all around the planet. Do they align with your boundaries? Are you accepting things in continually into your boundaries that do not align with your vision of the future? And for those things that do not align, like, don't just sit there and have that smoldering inside of you. Allow that fire to rise up and say, no, I do not accept that. I do not accept, to buy or receive goods from people that enslave other people to create it. Like, I do not subscribe to that. That is not within my boundaries. I reject that. And feel that rage. Like, this is for no one else to decide what you consume. It has to be you. You have to decide. And to allow that rage, because it's your love. It's your love for other humans. It's your love for yourself and your own boundaries that created that boundary and that rule within your boundaries. So this is very, very important for you. And I feel like there's a few companies I'm thinking of just now, and a few ways and things that I buy that really makes me think, am I really allowing these things into my life? Like some materials to upgrade my camper van with. Like, am I really thinking and being conscious about where I'm consuming these things from? Am I encouraging bad behaviors from around the planet? And of course, Maria, I would also like to just share some light language just to help us see over the next 12 months, to help really reignite that fire in your heart, because your boundaries are so important for all the other things the other guides had said, and to help you on your ascension. So here it is to help you increase your boundaries and activate that fire, that loving compassion in your heart. Arau, arau, arara. Inio tokoromu tokorono. Ramu, ramu, ra. 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 Just building those beautiful sovereign boundaries around you energetically. Doromu tokoro. And those that dare cross your boundaries will feel the fiery love of your rage. Ra. Remember who you are. Thank you, Maria. Well, as we come up as on 1 hour and 11 minutes, I want to say a massive thank you to my guides and every soul that's participated in today's session. I'd invite each of us to step out of today's session, and you can continue to remain in your own individual golden bubbles. And as we all step out, thanking my guides, my higher self, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source, and Gaia, and every soul that's participated, just feeling that beautiful energy. Thank you. Archangel Michael, please return this to Source, or never return here again. And I just want to thank you for this, you all, for this really beautiful opportunity. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting me and my family in my journey from leaving my corporate job to one of the last big doors of fear that I stepped through, and stepping into this world, and just having the time and the space and the energy. It takes a lot of energy to create a video like this and to do these sessions. And I really love doing this work, and I look forward to really reflecting on this video. I'll be listening back to it and integrating the practices that are suggested in it. And there's a lot. You ask a big question like, what are we doing over the next 12 months in our ascension? What's going to happen, and what can we do to help, and what work can we do for ourselves? Big questions get big answers, and those big answers do call us to do the work, to do the integration. And whilst this is just as much for entertainment as anything, to actually make it more than just entertainment, and to actually allow these important teachings and wisdom to affect our lives and to improve our lives, we need to now go and do the homework. And even if it's just listening to this video and taking 1 minute of the day to do one thing differently that's been suggested to you today, I encourage you to do this. And if you'd like to learn more about me, just visit my website, johnbinnie.com. And I hope this finds you well. Thank you so much. Sending my love from Scotland. I love you.